Hello everyone, I'm Afternoon Tea with Humans, and today I have another episode of My Hero Academia series where I program quirks into Bedrock Minecraft from My Hero Academia. Today we're going to be doing Todoroki's half hot, half cold quirk. Sorry to interrupt your scheduled broadcasting, but you may have noticed that really sick animated intro. I've just got a first video with it. That was made by my good friend Crouchymation. He's a really underrated, really good story time sort of video animated channel. Yeah, his videos are absolutely great, really funny. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. Definitely go check it out. It's really great. I think you'll really enjoy it. We have lots of really cool abilities. There's an Ice Peaks ability, a Frozen Barrage, and a Firestorm. So let's get some copies of these and flick on these levers so we can get started. So starting with Ice Peaks. So this is just a really awesome but sort of simplified version of his like you know, like where he causes that like massive like ice spikes coming up from the ground, like in like the Quirk tournament in I think season 1. But yeah, you just drop this item and immediately it just shoots out this huge like peaks of ice in this like sheer knife like cliff wall. You can use this as a staircase, or you can sort of surround a mob in it to trap groups or something like that. Next up we have Frozen Barrage, and to demonstrate this a bit better, I'm going to get out some creepers to test it on. So if I spawn in a bunch over here, I can spawn in as many as I want because it's a pretty spammable ability, and just throw it out, it instantly just rockets towards them. And yeah, this can just be activated by dropping the item, and yeah, as I say, you can spam it. So if I go into F5 mode, you can see this working, and other F5 mode also. Yeah, it's super accurate. I can aim and it goes just where I want it to. It's a really good raycast in my opinion. And yeah, as I say, it's spammable, so you don't have to wait for cooldowns or anything. However, there is a bit of a cooldown on Ice Peaks. You need to wait for it to finish before you can use it again. Next up, we have Firestorm, which is a really awesome, which is the final ability, but a really cool fire ability. So if I drop this down, instantly away from it is this huge storm of curling strands of twisting fire that damage mobs. So if one gets caught right in the center of it, see that creeper? Does a huge amount of damage to it. And if I throw it right on top of it, it's pretty much an instant kill. You can sort of drop it down from the air, and that way you can sort of see a bit of a above view on it. I'm going to try and give you guys another good top-down view of the ability being activated. Yeah, you can really see like super cool snakes of fire escaping away from it, and you can even drop down as many as you want at a time. This is brilliant for PvP. It has PvP functionality, so it should work against players, and it also acts as sort of like a escape cloud, like a huge cloud of fire that can obscure other players' views of you. So those are our 3 abilities: Ice Peaks, Frozen Barrage, and Firestorm. So yeah, let's get straight into the programming now that the demonstration is done. So starting with Ice Peaks, we can have a look over here in this command block. So it's just going to be this single chain. First, you're going to need a repeating command block with this command in it. To put in the commands, just you can pause the video at any point and copy them out into a command block. This one, when you drop the item called Ice Peaks, gives you a tag called Ice P. Put a lever on that and activate it, and we can start working. Though I advise you not to try activating the ability when you're halfway through programming. It can sort of break. Also, please bear in mind this is destructive to blocks and will break blocks. Let me demonstrate. So, yep, that rips straight through it, and so will Frozen Barrage. That makes massive holes in everything. So, yeah, starting with, and then you can move on and place a chain command block coming out of it with this command in it. So once you have that tag, it puts an armor stand in front of you and then aligns that armor stand so it's facing you, and then that and then the item is killed, and then the armor stand is given invisibility. It's also given resistance, and is teleported away from you and slightly upwards, at sort of like a diagonal angle, and it fills ice around it. So the way that it gradually moves up while that ice is being filled means that the ice gradually gets higher, and then finally it tests whether the ability has been activated. And if it has, it starts this timer before the ability is ended using a comparator and this repeater delay. You can set it as long or as short as you want, but I've calibrated it so it works pretty well with the ability. So I'd suggest copying out this time limit. And then the armor stand is killed and your tag is removed and you can reactivate it. And then to code the frozen barrage, you're going to start with a repeating command block with this command that executes at the item called Frozen Barrage and tags the nearest player with a tag called Froze. Once you have that tag called Froze, it creates a armor stand called Barrage right where you are, before aligning that armor stand with you so it faces towards you and is slightly away from you. And then it kills the item, and then with this command it executes at that armor stand and teleports it sort of away from you, backwards in the direction it's facing, so it sort of shoots it away from you before, and then it's to create the particles. First you need one command block that says that command creating ice at it, and then that ice being destroyed with this command block to create that sort of ice break particle. And then here, at the armor stand called Barrage, it affects anyone that it touches with slowness 255, freezing them in place. Also giving them, I must have typed this out wrong, mining _fatigue, so they can't break blocks while they're in that frozen state. And then this one here, which will give them slow falling, which, yes, slows them in the air, adds to that sort of illusion of being frozen. This one gives the armor stand invisibility, so you can't actually see the armor stand, it's just the particles being shot away from you. This one, at the armor stand called Barrage, it affects anyone that it touches with Wither, so that applies the actual damage frostbite effect. This one is to do with a scoreboard timer for it, so I'll get on to setting up that scoreboard in just a second. But yeah, you're going to need that command. And this command to add to the timer, it's just a scoreboard timer that counts down until the armor stand is killed. Then this one removes your tag. To set up that scoreboard, you're just going to want to type this command in chat or an impulse command block and then activate it once. This will create that ice time scoreboard. And later on, if you're going to be wanting to make the Firestorm one, you're going to want to also create a scoreboard objective called fire time. So if you're planning on using the Firestorm ability, I advise you type this into chat right now and activate it. But yeah, that's how we program our two ice abilities, Ice Peaks and Frozen Barrage. Now onto the Firestorm ability that's a little bit simpler to program than the other two. So this one, at the item called Firestorm, it summons bats renamed to Flame. So that's what creates that random snaking pattern, as you may have guessed already. And then this one creates fire particles at the bats. This one tags the nearest player with a tag called No Flame, so the person who actually activates it can't get harmed by the Firestorm. This one gives the bats invisibility, and then so all you see is the particles. It's just like snaking strands of fire, this one. The bat called Flame, it affects the sort of anyone who doesn't have the No Flame tag with a small amount of Wither, so it's sort of a bit more damage over time, a bit more balanced. And this one adds it so that all the bats with the Flame tag get a score of Fire Time 1, which will count for that fire timer before the bats are then killed. And in addition to that, the item also gets a scoreboard, and then both of them are killed after sort of around just a couple of seconds, really. Under 10 seconds is all the ability lasts for, because it counts down before all the bats are then killed, and so is that item that you dropped, because it all runs off that item that you dropped. And then this one just spams the bats with instant health, so they don't kill themselves with their own wither. But yeah, super cool. I was so pleased with this Firestorm effect. I thought it was so sick. It's partially inspired by one of my really old videos on like micro TNT bombers. But yeah. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to see more stuff like this. And leave your video ideas in the comments section below, or yeah, just especially leave a like if you want to see more My Hero Academia stuff like this. I really enjoyed programming this and making this video. I thought it was super fun.